Okay, let's discuss now the flow of documents. The first flow is ordering of goods from suppliers. Okay, mag-order ng goods. Yung buyer, mag-order ng goods sa supplier. So, it will start from, the flow is basically on the ordering of goods, okay, for selling, okay, yung inventory natin. So the warehouse man will prepare a purchase requisition, yung mga items na yung order niya, and this purchase requisition will be transmitted to purchasing department or purchasing officer. Okay? So upon receipt of the PR, okay, the purchasing officer will prepare the purchase order. Okay? And then this purchase order, to ensure that there is fund to pay the PO, it will be transmitted to accounting. The PO will be transmitted to accounting for fund or budget certification. Okay? So upon certification, normally the PO comes in multiple copies. It can be 3, 4 copies, okay, depending on the policy of the company. Okay. Then accounting, in as much as the PO is certified, it is a good internal control for accounting to retain a copy of the PO, and other copies will be transmitted to the purchasing department, to the purchasing officer. And if it is already certified by accounting, the PO can now be transmitted to the supplier, so the supplier will be informed on the items that are being ordered by the buyer. Okay? So, kung ano yung mga item na para sa dito sa supplier A, yun na nakalagay sa PO. So for supplier B, then because the PO has to be prepared per supplier. Okay? So it is also a good internal control that a copy of the PO will be given to the warehouseman para malaman ng warehouseman na yung purchase requisition niya ay na-order na. Okay, so the warehouseman can now make a preparation on the delivery of these orders. Okay, class? Next is delivery and receiving of goods from suppliers. So this is our supplier. So yung supplier natin, natanggap niya na yung PO ng buyer. Okay, and then the supplier will now do the delivery. And the delivery will be documented by the delivery receipt. So it will now be delivered to the warehouse man, the buyer's warehouse, okay? And then the buyer's warehouse will check the delivery against the PO to make sure na lahat ng delivery are in accordance with the PO. And then it is also uh, a policy of certain companies that the all what will be received by the warehouse will be documented by a receiving report. May mga situations kasi na minsan mali yung mga naisusulat because there can be an administrative error. So, ang nangyayari na lang to make the system simplified, yung DR doon na lang nagbibigay ng um, notations ang warehouse man. Doon niya na lang chine-check kung tama ba yung na-receive, kung mali, then nilalagay niya ng note, kunyari the items being delivered is nakalagay sa DR is 40 pero 38 lang, so lalagay niya na 38 lang, so sinasign yon ng both the delivery man and the warehouse man. Kasi kung gagawan pa ng RR, minsan nagkakaroon ng diferensya yan. So ang nagiging best practice, kung ano na yung DR, yun na rin ang RR ng company. Okay? And then the RR will be given, a copy will be given to accounting. Okay? And in as much as accounting already has a copy of the PO, normally yung accounting, ina-attach yung RR dun sa PO. Okay? And then, of course, the supplier's salesman will have a copy of the DR. It means that it was already delivered. So then they can now prepare the sales invoice, and this sales invoice will be transmitted to the purchasing department of the buyer para malaman na okay, na-deliver na namin yan. Ito na yung sales invoice. And the purchasing department will now transmit the sales invoice to the accounting as well as a copy of the delivery receipt. So in effect, accounting now has the sales invoice, the delivery receipt, the RR from the PO, and the RR from the warehouse man, and accounting already has a copy of the PO. So basically, accounting has four documents on the delivery of goods, on the order and delivery of goods. Okay, let's now discuss documenting the obligation from suppliers. So ito yung accounting natin. As we have said from the previous slide, accounting has copy of the sales invoice, copy of the DR, copy of the PO, and copy of the RR. So based on this, accounting will now prepare payable voucher. Okay? Gagawa na siya ng payable voucher. Okay? Because this documents, the sales invoice, the DR, RR, and PO already supports, okay, that there is an obligation, merong payable na dapat bayaran. Okay? So, to formally document or establish the accountability, a form, it will be prepared, the payable voucher. Okay? So, this payable voucher is prepared and it will be processed, and the approved payable voucher is used to record the payable to supplier. So based on payable voucher, ito na ngayon magiging basis ng accounting para ma-record yung purchases. So kung nagbubili ng inventory for perpetual method or for periodic method, debit purchases and credit accounts payable. So this payable voucher now establishes the propriety of the obligation. So, yan ang nagiging basis ng recording debit inventory, debit purchases, and credit accounts payable. Kung equipment naman ang binili or merong pwede din gamitin yung payable voucher sa other items, sa equipment, or sa utilities expense. Pwede rin gamitin yan because payable voucher establishes the obligation of the company, which is accounts payable. Okay? Bali, ang nire-record ng payable voucher is the accounts payable. Okay. Next is documenting payment to suppliers. So, babayad na. So, as from the previous slide, we have these documents, okay? And we already issued the payable voucher. We processed payable voucher. Okay na, na-record na natin na yung accounts payable. So, it is now, if the payable voucher is due, the corresponding check is processed. Kung kailangan na nating bayaran, then we have to process the payment. And in paying it, as we have said, it's a good internal control to pay it by means of check. Okay? So the check is now prepared and issued. The issued check is used to record the payment of the account before issuing to pay. So bago natin i-issue ito, i-record muna, ipaprocess, i-record muna natin yung check. Okay, it will be signed by, as I've said, it will be signed normally by two signatories. Okay, and then the recording will be, we will debit accounts payable and credit cash in bank. So yan ang nagiging entry in most situation in the issuance of check. Okay. Next is documenting sales to customers. So, we have our salesman. Okay, now ibibenta na natin yung mga items natin. Okay, yung salesman natin makikipag-usap sa customers, magsasolicit ng customers. Okay, basta okay na yung arrangement with customers, nakabenta na, and then the salesman will prepare the sales invoice. So, magpe-prepare na ng sales invoice, and then he will instruct to delivery of the items to the customers. Okay? So the customers will now receive the items ordered. Okay? And then the sales invoice will be given to accounting. So accounting can record the sales transactions. Okay, so the accounting now will record the sales based on the DR and on the sales invoice. Kaya minsan di na rin hinihintay yung DR, okay? So in most cases, it is the sales transaction is based on sales invoice. So basta meron ng sales invoice, nare-record na ng accounting, okay, yung sales transactions with the customers. And of course, our entry will be we debit accounts receivable and credit sales. Okay, so this transaction, uh, debit accounts receivable and credit sales, is based on sales invoice. Okay, next is documenting collection or receipt of payment from customers. So nagbenta tayo ng on account, kaya papadalhan natin ng statement of account ang ating customer. Statement of account is a collection document. Okay, sasabihin natin, the statement will provide yung utang, details ng utang ng customers. We will transmit the statement of account to customers. Okay, so normally dahil sinisingil na yung customer, so ang customer magbabayad na. Okay, magbabayad na sa uh, seller. Okay, so basta nagbayad na, then the seller will receive the payment, and to acknowledge the receipt of payment, document will be issued, and that is official receipt. Okay, and this official receipt will be used to record the receipt of cash. Okay, so official receipt, or you can call it cash receipt, is issued to acknowledge and record the receipt of cash. And the entry for the receipt of cash in this situation is we debit cash and credit accounts receivable. And the document that will be used for this transaction is the official receipt. Okay, class? And if you have questions, please let me know. So we still have certain topics on this for this week. Actually,